Myth number 3. Gifts were given at the birth of Christ. Now that we established that Yeshua the Christ was not born on December 25th and that the symbols of Christmas have nothing to do with the Hebrew Messiah's birth, how did the custom of celebrating the birth of Christ with the exchanging and giving of gifts to one another come into practice? To fully understand this, we must first review what actually took place. Who was present at the birth of Christ? And of those present, was there any kind of celebration? Well, there are two differing accounts which describe the events surrounding the Messiah's conception and birth. These biblical accounts are found in the Gospel of Matthew, namely Matthew chapter 1 verse 18 through chapter 2, and the Gospel of Luke, specifically Luke chapter 1 verse 26 through Luke chapter 2 verse 7. According to these accounts, Yeshua was born to Mary, assisted by her husband Yosef, in the city of Bethlehem. Popular traditions claim that the birth, commonly known as the Nativity, took place in a stable, surrounded by angels, shepherds, wise men bearing birthday gifts, and farm animals. This is not true. Luke chapter 2, verses 1 through 7 states,
"And it did come to pass in those days, that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. This census first took place while Cyrenius was governor of Syria, so all went to be taxed, everyone to his own city. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth, into Judea, to the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because Joseph was of the house and lineage of David. He went to Bethlehem to be registered and taxed with Mary, his betrothed wife, who was great with child. And so it was that while they were there, the days were completed that she should be delivered. And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn."
As you can see, according to these verses, no angels, shepherds, or wise men bearing gifts are mentioned as being in attendance at the birth. And though neither the stable nor the animals are specifically mentioned in the biblical accounts, a manger is mentioned in Luke chapter 2 verse 7, where it states,
"She wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and placed him in a manger."
As for the shepherds, it was not until after Yeshua's birth that they were told of it by an angel. Luke chapter 2 verses 8 through 17.
"Now there were in the same country shepherds living out in the fields, keeping watch over their flock by night. And behold, an angel of Yah stood before them, and the glory of Yah shone around them, and they were greatly afraid. Then the angel said to them, Do not be afraid, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which will be to all people. For there is born to you this day in the city of David a Savior, who is Christ the Adonai. And this will be the sign to you. You will find a babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger." So it was, when the angel had gone away from them into heaven, that the shepherds said to one another, "Let us go now to Bethlehem, and see this thing that has come to pass, which Yah has made known to us." And they came with haste, and found Mary and Joseph, and the babe lying in a manger. Now when they had seen him, they made widely known the saying which was told them concerning the child. And all those who heard it marveled at those things which were told them by the shepherds.
The shepherds from the fields surrounding Bethlehem were the first to immediately visit the babe and his parents. However, nowhere in the Bible does it indicate that the shepherds commemorated his birth by any sort of celebration. As for the wise men, the Gospel of Matthew describes a visit by several wise men sometime after the birth of Christ. These visitors were said to be following a mysterious star, believing it to announce the birth of the King of the Jews. Matthew chapter 2 verses 1 through 4.
Now after Yeshua was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and have come to worship him. When Herod the king heard this, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he inquired of them where the Christ was to be born.